ever used a GPS. We were driving through Florida on a family vacation, and the most notable time was that we had just missed our turn, which is very characteristic, I think, of all family vacations. And so at that moment, the GPS was saying, rerouting, rerouting, rerouting. And so with her voice on a continuously more annoying loop in the background, I took a seat back in the vehicle and I observed the people in the vehicle, and of which there were three. The first person was the I told you so person. They're the one that's like, we missed that turn. This is how you get from point A to point B. We have to fix it right now. They're not very happy. The second person also isn't very happy. They're maybe on the receiving end of the I told you so person. And they're just angry, they're frustrated, they're bottling it all up inside. They too, they're not very happy that we missed the turn. And they just say, oh, like this sucks. Like how can I just get back onto like the road so we can get where we're going? But then I think that there's a third person. And that third person is saying, okay, yeah, this is different. This is weird. We don't know where we're going. But what if, years from now, we look back on our family vacation and this experience, and out of all the experiences, we laugh about this one the most? What if this experience, this misturn, is better than what we could have anticipated? And just like how there's those three people in the vehicle, I think there's those three people within ourselves as well. And that first person, the I told you so person, has a plan. And they're like, you know what? When the GPS of life says rerouting in their life, they need to get back on the plan that they saw for themselves, and they're unwilling to accept change. The second person, the angry, frustrated one, when the GPS of their life says rerouting, they take it and they say, life is against me. I'm unlucky. Things aren't going my way and they never will be. But then there's that third person. And that third person says, whoa, wait a minute. I'm uncomfortable, maybe I'm in pain, but how can I use this in my life to create a story and to create more for myself in the future than I had even anticipated? And so I'd say I'm the third person, not because I was born that way, but because I choose to be that third person. And there have been moments in my life that the GPS of my life has said rerouting. And it's how I got through those that I know that I'm the third person. I continue to try to choose to be that. The first time the GPS of my life said rerouting was when I was about 9 years old. And at the time, my father had just suddenly passed away in a car accident. And I remember praying every single night for years, saying, why? Why does this have to happen? What good can come out of death? And I remember becoming, this child trying to get through that. And it wasn't until about 10 years later, when I had received a gold medal for the highest mark in piano performance for classical, that I took a step back and looked at my life. And I realized that I wouldn't be in that very spot without the highs and the lows. And it was a really grateful moment. And I realized that maybe if my father hadn't passed away, I would be in a different road, on a different path, just as good, but it wouldn't be my story. They wouldn't be my highs, they wouldn't be my lows.
Got you. Woo!
The second time in my life that the GPS of my life said rerouting was when I was in my second year of university. And I was taking 5 classes at the time, so full-time school. I was working about 20 to 25 hours a week. I was practicing about an hour and a half of piano every single day. And I went on a trip with my friend and her family to Fernie for 2 whole days. And on the second day of skiing, the second day, last run of the day, I fell and I broke both of my wrists. And I was devastated. I became that first and that second person. I became that person that's like, this is not how it's supposed to go. And I also became that second person. And I was like, you know what? I'm unlucky. Who falls and breaks both of their wrists? Poor me, poor me, poor me. But you want to know what the hardest part was of breaking both my wrists? It wasn't the inability to do the simple things of life. It was that the people around me, they became that first person and that second person. And for the first time in my very capable life, people expected me to fail. I had people tell me, you know what? You should probably just quit university for a while, pick it back up in a semester when you can do it. I also had people tell me, you know what? You probably won't be able to play piano again. You might need physio, and you might never be able to play. And it was that perspective and that journey that today I'm actually grateful that I broke both of my wrists. Very strange sentence to say, but it's true. Because through that experience, I learned that how we treat other people matters. And how we encourage other people and support other people and love other people matters, and it changes how they perceive themselves. And without breaking both of my wrists, I wouldn't have realized that. And so I just want to rewind and quickly do a fast forward into how I'm even standing here today speaking at MoMondays. So if my father had not passed away when I was 9 years old, I would have chosen to go to a different high school. If I had chosen to go to a different high school, I wouldn't have met my high school boyfriend at the time in Saskatchewan. My high school boyfriend, we drove out to Manitoba, and I met Maurice and Tracy 8 years ago, I think, 8 or 9. If I hadn't met Maurice and Tracy, I wouldn't have looked after their 3 daughters for a summer, about, 3 years now. And if I hadn't looked after them for a summer, I wouldn't have met my now partner. And if I hadn't met him, I wouldn't have moved to Winnipeg. If I hadn't moved to Winnipeg, I probably wouldn't know what MoMondays was. And if I didn't know what MoMondays was, I would not be standing right here, right now, today. So I want you to all get and think about your own lives, about your past, about your present, and how you go into your future. When you think about the struggles that you've had in your life, because we've all had struggles, but we've also had some really good points as well. And as we continue to write our story and adapt to the things that challenge us, it's our choice of who we want to be and how we deal with those things. So will you choose to be the first person? The person that says, no, I think I know what I want for my life, and I'd be unwilling to change, and try your hardest to get back to it, even though the way of life takes you away? Will you be that second person that bottles things up inside and say, life is against me, I can't do this, and be unwilling to ask for support? Or will you choose to be that third person? The person that says, yeah, things are difficult, but you know what? I'm writing my story right now, and this might make me a better person than I had even anticipated. So, who do you choose to be? Thanks.